Oh, and there's Bobby Joe. Perfect. Okay, well, welcome everybody to our small group leader training meeting. So we're going to talk about what we do at Cross+Walk Sunday School, and especially what we do in small groups. But I thought we could start with some introductions. So one of the things we've been focusing on a little more the past year is focusing on families in addition to focusing on the kids and the youth. So one way we can do that is just by getting to know each other and getting to know the families that come to Cross+Walk Sunday School. So I'm going to ask you to say your name and tell us a little bit about your family and tell us something else about yourself. So Jeremy, I'm going to call on you to go first.
Right. Thank you. I am Jeremy. Jeremy Moz. I have a wife and two daughters. Julie is my wife. Raina is 2 years old, and Micah is about 4 months old. And my thing about me is that we just bought a house, and we're in the early stages of tearing out carpet and putting in floor, and I'm learning a lot, and it's going to be a lot of work.
And my name is Erin Bierke, and a little bit about me. Well, my family would be my parents and my older sister, and my sister's married and they have 2 kids. So I have a little niece who's 3 and a little nephew who is like 9 months old. So I get to spend a lot of time with them, so that's fun. And something that a lot of people don't know about me is I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. So and I'm just going to call on you in the order that you're on my screen. So Alicia, you're next.
Hi, I'm Alicia. So I actually just got married 2 weeks ago to my husband, Andrew. So it's just us 2, and then we have a little kitten who's absolutely crazy, but we love him. Something about me, I guess we try to take at least 3 or 4 hiking trips each summer. So we just recently went to the North Shore and went up to, I think it's around 2 harbors, and hiked Bean and Bear Lake.
Awesome, thank you. Cindy, you're next. If Cindy's able to talk to us. I know she was going to, I forgot exactly what she said, if she was going to be on the road or at something. So maybe she can't talk to us right now. Bobby Joe, are you able to talk to us?
Yep, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Bobby Joe Olson. I have a almost 6-year-old Easton, and then just turned 2-year-old Aiden. So 2 little boys. We have a dog and a cat as well. And something that I think if it's Cindy Easton's preschool, or Cindy Easton's kindergarten Sunday school teacher from his first year, she knows, but Aiden was actually born in the car with Easton in the car as he was born as well. So Aiden was born in the car and baptized in a garage. So
Wasn't there a newspaper article about him being baptized in the garage?
yep, there was a newspaper article on him being born in the car because my mother and then Sheriff Empting got the Stork Award from Clay County or from the Barnesville ambulance. And actually, so my first day that we got discharged from the hospital was my oldest first day of preschool at St. John. And my niece had just gotten baptized, and I was her godmother the Sunday before Aiden was born on Saturday. And then we had to go right to church after we got discharged from the hospital to go bring Easton to preschool. And Pastor Eric was right there, and I was like, well, hey, at least I made it to the baptism, because that was kind of the question, was if I was going to make it to the baptism or not. And then we told him the story, and then I think he said like a couple weekends later they had a neighborhood thing, and Sheriff Empting was there and was talking about it as well. And he said he didn't put two and two together until like a couple weeks later when he was like, oh my gosh, they were talking about the same story. So, yep.
That's great. Thank you, Bobby Joe. Well, I hope Cindy can hear us.
Well, I can speak on behalf of Cindy. She
Okay,
I
go
can-
for it.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Luckily, Logan got into the car just in the nick of time to fix my phone. So I was having technical difficulties. So I could hear you, but I just couldn't talk to you. So I'm Cindy Bloom, and my family is Wade and Jensen, Kendall, and Logan, all three girls. Jensen's a senior at MSUM. Kendall is a junior at the University of Kansas. Oh, I'm sorry, a freshman at the University of Kansas. And Logan is an 8th grader at Discovery. Something most people don't know about me is I'm a Christmas baby. I was born on Christmas Eve.
I did not know that about you.
It's kind of nice because as you get old and you don't really like your birthday, it's easy to hide.
That's great.
Well, I am happy to be here today. It's kind of actually a busy day for me. I've got some things right after this, so I'm going to be hopping off soon. But I wanted to share a couple of things before I do. One of them is that this is something I've shared lots because it's old information now, but it was something I was volunteering as a youth person, small group leader at a church when I was in college. And one of the things that that somebody had shared with us all, they said youth ministry and with kids has been changing theories over time. At one point, they were thinking that when you've got adults and kids together, that you're wanting to hit a ratio of maybe like one adult to 6 youth. You don't really want to go bigger than that. You want to be able to have like that sort of thing. Well, they said they've been kind of changing their thinking, and that it's actually really more like each youth should have 6 adults focused in on them being a strong adults relationship in their lives. They said that there's several adults that don't count in this list. One is their parents, teachers, and people who have who are sort of keeping them like responsible for things, right? But the adults that this particular thing was talking about are adults that just care about them as them, as who they are. And this is always thought, it's kind of stuck in my mind because I feel like that's, as in the church, that's our role with these kids. And as small group leaders, you get to be just a caring adult who just is interested in these kids for who they are. And you don't need to be the one saying, hey, did you memorize your Bible lesson, or did you get to church here on time or anything like that? No, but you just get the role of being able to say, hey, it's good to see you this morning. I'm glad you're here. How was your week? And that's kind of our primary role here. Of course, there's a lot else that, there's a lot of details in what goes into this, and safety and all that kind of stuff. But that's just my encouragement to you. I just did a little, I saw earlier today, something that had mentioned that kids, youth with a strong adult relationship in their lives are more likely to succeed academically. And just another area where just you being in these kids' lives are good in many, many ways. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about what Cross+Walk looks like in general. You may already know this, but in general, large group is taken care of by me and Aaron, as well as families and kids who decide to take part in it. But we do all the planning for that. Small groups are led by small group leaders, but they're prepared for between the small group leaders and Aaron. Aaron provides a lot of stuff for the small group leaders. I've never been a small group leader, so she gets to tell you way more about that when it gets to it. Oh, the other thing I was going to do, and I'm doing this way out of order, but I wanted to talk through I wanted to mention what we're actually going through during this meeting today. So let's see. Welcome and introductions, we've done that. Ministry of Presence, that's you guys being there. General Crosswalk information, what I just said. So we'll go over class assignments, so everybody knows what their small groups are. Excellent. Yes, here we go. What we do in a small group, and general stuff about our curriculum, what kind of curriculum we use and why. Safety stuff, COVID precautions. We'll have any chance for questions at the end, and then pray over you. I'll be praying in spirit because I will be gone by that point in the meeting. If you have any questions for me, or if you ever want to talk to me, you are always welcome to. I love talking with people. But that's it. I think I've got to go. Aaron, was there anything else that I was going to do?
I'm looking, just a second.
I always ask this because in terms of Crosswalk, Sunday school stuff, Aaron is really the one who knows everything. I participate. I'm part of it. I'm happy to be part of it. But Aaron is really, she's the one. She knows all of it.
That's all I have for you, Jeremy. So thank you.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you later.
So Jeremy's got like 2 other meetings to go to tonight, so we'll let him go. Yeah, I guess I never explained my role here at the church either. So I'm the youth education director, which means I do children's ministry stuff basically. So I do Sunday school, VBS, and Milestones ministry. And then Jeremy is the youth programming director, and he does stuff with middle school and high school. We both kind of help with confirmation, although Jeremy helps more with confirmation. So anyway, done with that side note. I noticed that Angie popped in. Angie, before you got here, we went around and introduced ourselves. So I'm wondering if you could do that. We said our name and told a little bit about our family, and then told something else about ourselves.
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me, Erin?
You're kind of quiet, but yeah, I can hear you.
I haven't used this in a long time. So I'm Angie Walswick, and I have 2 girls in Crosswalk. So Livia and Adrian. Livia's 10, Adrian's 7. And something else about us, we like to go camping. Is that good? Is that
Yeah,
good?
that's
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you,
Okay.
Angie.
Yeah, sorry for being late.
No, that is just fine. And we are recording this meeting. So if you wanted to go back and watch the part that you missed, but I don't think you need to.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like Alicia really likes to be outside and go hiking. So that's great. Let's see, what is next on the agenda? So we talked about a little bit of an overview of what Crosswalk Sunday School looks like. And you may have noticed that the past couple years, we've been pretty intentional about calling it Crosswalk Sunday School, which is kind of a mouthful, or we call it Crosswalk or Sunday School interchangeably. We just do that because like the name of our program is Crosswalk, but we also want it to be accessible and not confusing to especially new families who come into the church. And so, and most people understand what we mean when we say Sunday school. So that's why we call it Crosswalk Sunday School. So yes, on a Sunday morning, we'll all gather in the fellowship hall for a large group. So that includes, it's led by me and Jeremy, and that includes the kids who come, and we invite their parents or grandparents, and sometimes older siblings or younger siblings to come to the large group part. And then after that, we dismiss them to their small groups, which is where you guys come in. So we usually dismiss them one class at a time, and we'll have the small group leaders lead them to their classroom in case there's someone who's new, or, well, especially for the little kids, it's to make sure nobody wanders off. But if you don't know where your classroom is, I can show it to you on Sunday morning. We did show the kids where the classrooms are last Sunday. So you might be wondering, Erin, what do we do in small groups? So the small group time is for building relationships, and it's for kind of reinforcing the lesson. So the relationships is like the first priority, and reinforcing the lesson is secondary. But we'll introduce the lesson during large group, and we'll tell a Bible story, or sometimes it's more of a passage than a story, so we'll go over that. And then during small group, you'll get the curriculum with different activities to do to reinforce that. So I'd like you to start each time by having the kids put stickers or make marks on the attendance sheet. So each room has an attendance sheet. Last week, we had those in there. And in the past, a lot of times I've pre-printed their names on to the attendance sheet. But I realized this year, like, I just didn't know who was coming or not. And I didn't know who would be attending on Zoom and who would be attending in person. So I just had them write their name on there when they got to the small group room. So we will encourage everybody to put on a sticker name tag when they get here. So so that'll help you spell names. But yeah, we'll have the kids write in their name if it's not already on there. Yeah, the small group time is kind of yours to choose what you do with your group. So it's about 20 minutes long. The small group time is from about 10 a.m. to 10:30-ish. Sometimes, especially the oldest class goes a little bit longer than that. And especially the youngest class goes a little shorter than that. So, and that's just fine. So I'm going to share my screen with, oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to share my screen with our class assignments, just in case you haven't seen this. So we've got so Cindy, I've got you with the kindergarten and first graders. Bobby Joe, I've got you and Sheila with the second graders. Alicia, I've got you with the third graders. And then Desiree with the fourth and fifth graders. And Angie is a substitute. So there's that list. I still do not have a designated leader for the virtual group. I'm gonna lead that this Sunday, and but yeah, ideally we'll have someone else who can lead them. So I'm going to get to the curriculum packets. So I emailed out the curriculum packets for September for your specific age group today. Angie, I didn't send one to you because you don't have a specific group, but I know you've seen them before. So here's an example of one. So this is for small group. This one is for the second and third graders. There's a kindergarten, first grade curriculum, second and third, fourth and fifth. So this is what you'll get for each week. My goal is to send them out monthly, like a week ahead of time. So you'll get one of these for each week. I'll also print it out and leave it in the room for you. When you open it up, it'll look like this. The stuff on the side might be helpful, and that's on every page. You really don't need to read the first page or the early arrival activity or the opening activity, because this is written for going to small groups and then going to large group and then going back to small groups, but we don't do that. So this curriculum is something that we buy from a publisher, and it's called Orange, and there's a lot of good stuff in it, but there's also a lot of stuff in it. So we don't use all of it. And sometimes we tweak it to suit our needs better. So like on this one, I wouldn't even start reading it until page 4 here. So there's probably about 5-ish activities here. And okay, there's 4 activities here. And then the last page is a list of supplies. So yeah, you'll get like 4 to 6 activities, but you'll probably only have time to do 2 or 3 of them. And so yeah, just know that you will have more than you need. And that's always good to overplan. So each week I'll go through this and I'll look and see like which activities I think are good ones, and I'll prep supplies for those for you. If there's an activity in here that I'm just like, I don't like that one, then I probably won't do supplies for that activity. But if there's an activity that you want to do that I didn't give you supplies for, or just something that's not in the curriculum that you thought of that like, oh, this would go great with it, definitely go ahead and do that. We have a supply room downstairs by the Sunday school rooms. You're welcome to dig around in there for whatever you may need, or ask me for other supplies. So any questions on the curriculum part?
I would just add that from my experience with the curriculum, I've never really had trouble finding activities, even if I don't like exactly what they've done. It's usually close enough to help me come up with something. And Pinterest is also a great way to find other ideas or how to elaborate on an idea. And what I found works best for me is kind of depending on the kids. Like if I have a class that has and I know this is very stereotypical, but if I have a class that has a lot of boys in it, they tend to like to play the games more than doing crafts. And if I have a class that has more girls in it, then it's just the opposite. They tend to like some of the crafts and aren't as into the games. Or if I have a good mix, then I find like I rotate more. So usually I try to kind of pick my thing based on the kids themselves and what they seem to like best. And like Erin said, they usually give us more than we have time for. So that's really a good thing.
Also, thank you for adding that, Cindy. And I've had lots of small group leaders tell me over the past few years that they really like this curriculum. So we've had a good mix of just like different styles of small group leaders. So we have some who really like to plan ahead, and we have others who will just walk in on Sunday morning and they haven't read it, but it's right there in front of them and the supplies are right there and they go for it, and that's great too. So I don't want anybody to feel like you have to prep a ton, but if you want to do that, I also want to give you the tools to do that. Okay, so that's the curriculum. Oh, I also sent you the schedule, and I know I labeled this document as calendar. I should have labeled it as schedule, but this is just a list of the Sundays this year. And the ones for this fall, I have mapped out which week of the curriculum we're doing on which day. So if you look at September, this is a little bit confusing. So the curriculum comes with basically a different unit for each month. And we don't use all of them throughout the year. So sometimes we pick and choose ones that we like better. And we liked the July one better than the September one. So we're using the July one in September. So that's why it says September 19th, July week 1. So our press play theme is written as July, but we're using it in September. So for October, we'll use October. And then this is something we normally do. We usually end up skipping the November theme and going straight to December because we're also getting ready for our Christmas program during that time. And we only end up doing like a week or two of Crosswalk in December. So we have, yeah, we end up having a lot of Sundays off in November and December. So you should have this in your email so you can refer to it later. Okay, next thing, I also emailed you our child protection policy and the background form. And I think everybody here. So if you weren't a VBS volunteer, I need a background check form from you. We have to do that on each of our volunteers each year. But I believe everybody here was a VBS volunteer, which means we already did a background check on you this year. So awesome, we're ahead of things there. And then, so the next thing is a couple of safety things, and I think we talked about this for VBS too. For safety, obviously we want to keep kids safe. We want to know where they're at and have them where they're supposed to be. And if anything is unsafe, please tell me or another church staff member. We also want to keep ourselves safe. Unfortunately, in this day and age, like if a kid makes up something about you and there isn't another person there to vouch for you, then that's a bad deal for you. So that's why we have the rule of 3. So please make sure you're not alone with a kid. Make sure there's another kid or another adult with you. Also for that reason, please keep the doors of the classrooms open, especially the ones that don't have windows in them. So that's just for transparency and also for keeping you safe. And actually, that's also a COVID precaution. So we want to keep the doors open for airflow as well. So we'll keep doors open. That brings me to COVID precautions. As long as we're talking about keeping the doors open, the rooms we're using this year for small groups all either have a window that opens or the room we're using for 2nd grade is one of the preschool classrooms, and that has an air purifier in it. So, so the rooms, except for the preschool room that has an air purifier, we will keep the windows open as much as possible while we're meeting for small group. Hopefully we won't have to worry about that as much when it gets cold and snowy, but for right now, we'll keep the windows open and we'll keep the doors open. Other COVID precautions, masks are required We let the parents know about that. And that's just a church-wide rule right now. So that's for age 2 and up, the masks are required. We're potting like we did at VBS. So each small group is considered a pod. And we would like each pod to social distance from each other, like when we're at large group. Last Sunday, we hadn't told anyone who was in their pod yet. So like, well, we'll just social distance by families, and we might keep it that way in the large group where we'll just ask families to social distance from each other, from other families. So potting, social distancing, masks, air circulation. I also sent out a list of health screening questions to the parents. This is the same as what we used for VBS. Actually, let me pull that up. So this is, we would like, we ask the parents to go through this every week before they come. And if they can answer yes to any of the questions, we would like them to stay home. So it's, if you had any known contact with someone having or suspected having COVID-19 in the last 14 days, has anyone in your family tested positive? Have you had a new onset of one or more of these symptoms? And has a public health or medical professional told you to monitor, isolate, or quarantine for COVID? So we're asking anyone who's not feeling well to please stay home, and that includes you guys. Also, I'd like you guys to kind of self-assess for that before you come. And yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling well, like, please stay home. You can email me or text me. Actually, I'm gonna put my cell phone number in the chat here and I can email it. So this is my cell phone number. And yeah, if we can get a sub for you, we'll do that. If it's last minute and we can't get a sub, we'll figure it out. So you don't have to worry about that. And then our other COVID precaution is we have a Zoom option for Crosswalk. So anybody who wants to stay home and log in through Zoom can do that. And that is all the information I have for you. Do you have any questions right now?
I just had one request. I know we had the kids write their names on the attendance sheet, like you mentioned, but I will admit the handwriting isn't necessarily the clearest.
Yeah, definitely.
Could we just even get a list of possible names that we could expect in our classrooms?
Oh, so yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I can definitely give you.
You know, we wouldn't have to post it. It would just be for us to reference, so we kind of know who we could potentially see this year.
Yep, that's a great idea. I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me or call me. Before we go, I would like to, I'd like to close with a prayer. So please pray with me. Lord God, thank you for these volunteers and for Crosswalk Sunday School and for the kids and parents. I pray that your presence will be with us as we are at Crosswalk, and I pray for these leaders that you will guide them and that your spirit will move in them. And I pray for the relationships that they will make with the kids and the families that come. Amen. Okay, any last questions, comments, concerns? Oh, you're welcome. And I will see you all on Sunday then. And yeah, if you're going to be gone on a certain Sunday, please try to let me know like the Monday before. So yeah, I'll see you all on Sunday. Have a good evening and thanks for coming.
Bye,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.